Today's project is to convert the Kato Glacier Express, which I don't know whether you've seen this or seen it in real life or not, but anyway, it comes as DC, and Digitrax makes a decoder here, a DN163K4A, so that's the decoder that I'm going to be putting in. I haven't done one of these particular units before. I have done a number of other installs, so I don't imagine this one will be a whole bunch different, but we'll see as we get going. So first off, I'm going to get into this decoder, and to do that I'm going to remove this staple that's here holding the package together, and whenever I remove a staple, make sure I find it and throw it in the garbage so that it's not picked up by a motor or anything weird like that. There's a couple more staples here, so let's get rid of them. However you best do that. That one gone, and that one gone. Okay, the first thing you're going to do when you get this is, oh, by the way, these little guys, I usually save them at least for a while. They're nice thin cardboard, and there's lots of things they can be used for. Then within the package we have the decoder. Take a look at that. It's got a little bit of capped on tape on it, and seems pretty straightforward. So we'll see how that goes in. First thing you're going to do, of course, is read the instructions. Now, I've already read these online, so you can get all these online, because they go about and show how to do the work. And the work in this case is to start by removing the shell. Now what I'm going to do is grab a piece of white paper towel, and I've got a cutting mat here. It's one of those standardized cutting mats that are self-healing, but I'm going to lay this down so that if a little piece falls off, it's a whole bunch easier to pick up, and it doesn't bounce. So let's go to here. In order to get this off, there's probably a number of ways of doing it, but the standard way that I get Kato stuff off is I hook my fingernails underneath the shell. See, I got 4 fingernails in there. Careful that you don't ruin the top stuff. And once all fingernails are in, I pull, and you see it drop a few times and everything drops out. So that was interesting. Now I'm going to make sure I know how to put all this stuff back in. These are the windows, so those aren't tough to get back in. I know how they'll just fit in okay once I do them properly. There's only one way that those will go in, so those will go in without an issue. Put the other one in. Mirror images of each other. We'll set that aside, so we'll put it there for now. And these guys just go over the end like that. There's nothing difficult about those. You can see here's the existing light board. Here's the light pipes. One of the light pipes here. I'll just so you can see here's one of the light pipes that takes light from this LED down into here and will go forward into whatever it has to go to on the cab, and similarly there's another one there. This thing is, as far as I know, completely bi-directional, so there's no front and back per se. Let's see, if I look here at the decoder, yeah, I can see it maps in like this. So there's nothing all that special there. There is a piece of capped on tape to make sure, and another piece of tape on the bottom here to make sure there's no connection there. So when I go to the instructions, they say carefully move the factory light board by sliding it toward the front of the locomotive. Well, I guess this must be the front over here, so I'm going to just see if I can easily wiggle this light guy out of here. No, it doesn't wiggle out easily. I'd have to take the front end off, which I'll do. Just a couple little clips here. Okay, so I just took the front end off, and that's so I can wiggle it accordingly towards the front. And I'm going to take the back end off as well. And again, as far as I know, these are identical. There, now that we're down here, you can see that there's a couple of little retaining tabs here. There's this retaining tab that needs to come off, and then it'll slide. So let's get something, try a fingernail first, see if I can lift this motor retaining tab up. Easily. Yeah, it'll come up with the whole thing, so it does slide back and forth relatively easily, although it has to get over these guys here. So I'm going to grab a pick, just a small one here. I'll lever that up, and then do it on the other side, I guess, as well. Once I do, I can push that back. Once I push it back, I just pull up underneath the mold here, and that all comes up. So now that that's up like that, you can see there's the DC version, and I'm going to pop this black clip off. Goes like that. Then these motor clips have to come off, and just wiggle them off carefully. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. There, those are off. So now I'm going to put this guy in instead, and it's just going to go in like that. In order to do so, I need to trim this little bit of capped on tape there. Don't want to do that. Just looking at the way the motor tabs go in. And the motor tab is going to want to make contact on the bottom part with this here little contact. That'll be the bottom part of the motor tab right there. So what I need to do is cut away that little bit there, pull that little piece off. So now I've exposed the bottom parts of the tab. Now we'll put these motor tabs on. And they're just going to wiggle, and they'll fit on a little loose at this point, but they should kind of snap in. once they're on like that, then you want to put this here retainer tab on top again. Click. Those make them much tighter. Now, next up, what you're going to want to do is insert all of this stuff back in here. Double check, I think everything looks good there. And I'm going to do it by, I'll get back on camera again so you can see. Insert at the front, and then this goes over the motor tabs. Now what I'm seeing here is these guys aren't making contact the way they should up front. Let's just double check here now that everything's in. These have to make good contact, and I can see they're not. So, in order to fix that, everything else is looking good, except those just aren't making contact. So, now that I've got everything seated the way it's supposed to be, I have to pull it all out. Put a small blob of solder on each of these to make it a little higher. So, got some solder. Turn the soldering iron on. Okay, you don't want too much heat on here, but you want a bit. Solder blob. Solder blob. Okay, I doubt if you'll be able to see that on camera, but the solder blob has gone on both sides, making it a little bit taller there. And now I'll just clean that off with a cloth here. Let's try putting this guy in again and see what happens. Yeah, I can feel the contact already, so. And it's springy here because it's making contact there. This can go forward a little more, so I use my skewer at the back to push a little. That looks like it's pretty well seated. And when I look up front here, yeah, that's looking good. Okay, next up, put these ends with the light pipes back on again. And I have just a little bit of white protective paper here that I'm going to cut off so I can get this light pipe to fit properly. Got that. And now we'll try this again. Now we're at a stage where I want to test it out before I actually do anything. Just double check something here. Yeah, so I notice here this pickup is supposed to ride underneath there, and it's riding on top, so there, we'll just put that in like that. Once the body goes on, that kind of stuff won't happen. See the same thing here. There. Okay, so now I'm going to put it on the layout, fire it up as 03, and we'll see what happens. Okay, and if we zoom in here, you can see that the light's on, and if I change direction, it changes the light, and there it goes. There it goes in the other direction. So that's looking good like that. Next up, put the cab back on. And here we have it. And let's give it a little bit of throttle. And away we go. I'll slow that down. You can see lights are working, lower and upper. And then I reverse it. See, the lights are working. So that's all looking good. Reverse again, it's now forward. And you can't really tell just forward and backward. So that can, we go way up throttle wise. Needs some braking time still. And the track's ready. Okay, and here we see the full thing, full express being pulled. So, successful DCC conversion.